morning, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New
And
Year!
welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche, Season 5, Episode 1. Happy 2024. We are so glad that you are here. I am Lori Monaco, the Badass Buddha, coming to you from a gloomy, well, not so gloomy, little gloomy, Eastern Tennessee in the United States. I'm boring. I'm coming from the boring place because nothing is more exciting than where my partner in crime is. So, good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Leanne. Good morning, Tiffany Bryan.
Good morning, good morning. That is not true because it
We
is
make
what
our
it is.
excitement. We make
Yes.
good morning, Gail. Good morning, Editha.
Good morning and happy New Year, everybody. Feliz Año Nuevo. I am in Pamplona today. It's a big city. Um, Tomorrow we climb a mountain 750 meters high. So it's like this. To then come down it where the descent is worse. See, when you come up, you go up like this. The descent is like this. And there's no albergues open in between.
Oh,
Where
so
I'm
it's start to
starting,
finish. Start to
it's
finish.
23.8 kilometers. Now, to be quite honest, we have been doing 10 kilometers a day because it is what we can do in it's about we've been averaging 7 miles. And to me, that seems like nothing when I walk in the flatlands of Florida. But here, when you're going up and then around, I swore I thought the forest took us into a UE the other day. I said, no, we're not going up to go into a UE. Let me tell you how bad that climbing that mountain through the forest, which was beautiful, was that we reached a point we couldn't even hear the cars. That's how high up from everyone we were. We couldn't hear the traffic, nothing. So we go up, and Iris comes down, and then we had to cross something like, like the path on the side of the mountain. So we had to cross it to continue going down now. So I'm talking, and I said, okay, we're almost there. I can see the village. I look back, Iris is waving down cars. Help me. So I said, what the fuck are you doing? She's like, I can't. I'm going to go to the hospital. I just can't. Because that was the 3.5 hours of walking in the rain, up a mountain, through the forest, if that makes any sense. And she literally couldn't. And then she got really sick yesterday. So it was,
Oh.
yeah, but yeah, so today we do that. And we're here. We just got into our albergue here. Let me see if I can show you what the outside looks like. See that mountain over there? That's the one we got to climb tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Uh-huh. And yeah, so that's the city. That's the city. So yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, this
But
place is kind of nice.
here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say, especially to Iris, is that Iris, you pushed yourself and you did it. It's over. That's the whole point of these pilgrimages. That's the whole point of doing these things that go outside of our comfort zone, is to see what we are capable of. We are resilient, our resiliency. So the lesson is to go into this and say, I got past that, and yep, it sucked, but I got past it, and yep, I got sick, but I'm getting better, which means that I can accomplish anything. Like, I can do anything that comes my way. If I could get past that mountain and walk for 3.5 hours in the rain, I can get past anything. And
And
that's, so just keep saying that to yourself, Iditsa, because it's true. People do that all the time. It's a very common practice for people when they get to a point in their life where they're very stuck, to want to just do a pilgrimage. It doesn't have to be to the Camino, but I always think of, like, And it's so significant, really. But I think of the movie Forrest Gump, where he just finally had it. He just decided to run. Remember when that episode, that scene where he was just running, and he just kept running. He ran clear across the United States. Then he ran back. They kept running back and forth because he had to. And then all of a sudden he just stopped, and that was
You
that.
just stopped.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's what we were talking about last night. We were talking about, we're mothers, and if anyone has had a natural birth would know that if you can survive that pain, there's nothing really you can't. Our muscles are hurting that, we haven't felt in a long time. And I said, because we woke them up. But she did remind me of something. We hadn't eaten since the night before. We were walking 3.5 hours in the rain. And by the night before, I'm talking about 6 o'clock. And because it was such a small village, the only thing they had available for us was pieces of bread, pieces of cheese, and pieces of chorizo. That was our dinner. So then that was at 6 o'clock. And then we started walking in the morning. I think we had a horrible cup of coffee at the place we were at that we made ourselves, unfortunately.
No Viva Cafe con Leche.
No, and then we walked all the way until about 1 something when we got to the place where we were staying at that night, starving. And it was New Year's Eve, so everything was closing at 3. So we had to run to the grocery store, pick up some stuff, go. They recommended this restaurant, was awful, and then walk back. It was, and that's what we kept saying. We pushed through the pain. There's really nothing we cannot accomplish in life, only the boundaries we set for ourselves. And the pain's going to be here for a couple weeks until our body's like, okay, we're doing this. We're doing this.
And what's the quote? What's the Rumi quote you love to say? Go ahead.
The cure for the pain is in the pain. And that once we reach our destination and everything's throbbing like our everything, we did it. We made it. And that's the thing. That's our main goal right now. There's nothing we cannot do. There's everything we don't want to do. But yes. So, yes, happy new beginnings for everybody out there today. Let's start with bring your own coffee and coffee pot. That's what I do. You know what? I wish we could, but right now, Iris threw stuff out of her backpack. I'm going to ship some stuff back to the albergue in Santiago where our suitcase is. I'm at the point where I just want to have one outfit and one thing to sleep in because it feels so heavy and everything's such an incline that Happy New Year, Maria, that when you think the incline is horrible, but coming down when your feet is pushing forward into the thing with the heavy backpack, and there's no transportation of backpacks because it's winter. So we picked a really great year to be adventurous.
No, but listen, you know what's interesting about that statement? You didn't pick the time to go. It picked you.
God said, go now.
Picked you. Like this is, because listen, this is a big deal. When people go hiking, it's one thing. Anybody who's done hiking, I know my sister could totally relate to this. But anytime anybody's ever done, whether it's long distance hiking or just even short burst hiking, there's best times to go and there's times that are more challenging. And you chose a more challenging time because this was the time that it worked for you, but this was the time that was meant for you.
Absolutely.
So just both of you think of that as you go, because today's topic is, and here you are. Today is our first episode of the new year. We are in season 5. We've been doing this since 2020. So we are running into May will be our 4th year doing this.
Isn't that awesome?
We would be doing, And the thing is, this is what January is. We're going to stick with the way we did it last year, where we're going to name a month. And then the month, that's going to be the theme for the month. So the month of January is the awakening. Okay. And we want you all to take the information that you got last year and use it to finally wake up. If you were waking up as you went last year, great. We're so proud of you. If it was challenging for you, then it's okay too, because then it just keeps you going and says, we want you to push yourself. My sister and I had a very interesting experience over the last 10 days because of the company that we've had. And it reaffirmed for both of us who we want to be, the direction we want to go, what we want out of life. But sometimes it takes this frustration and being around certain people and
Mm-hmm.
situations to really say, okay, you know what? Enough is enough. And she's getting ready to go on a phenomenal trip for 3.5 weeks, hiking in Peru, in Colombia, with my middle daughter. My middle daughter is so excited about it. And I'm excited because I'm so grateful that she's taking my daughter like on this adventure with her. But I'm excited because it's like you need these reminders. You need to get out of, I mean, she's happy here. She loves where she is, but you still need these reminders. Like we were around a specific person that was very negative. Everything was all about the past, the wounds, the that, and not being grateful for the here and now, not being grateful for what we have here and now. And she and I were just talking before the show, and I said, you know, the irony is that it seems like the more we have, the more miserable people get. Where you're
Mm-hmm.
going to a country where these people have very little, and they're going to be gladly taking you around, you know, like on these tours and up through the mountains with the donkeys or the llamas rather, and alpacas. And it's like they make the most of their simple
Mm-hmm.
lives. And that's what you have to look at. You have to look at and you have to say, boy, this is just spectacular. And a good way to connect it to what Guru's doing. I remember when you started to compare your two trips, and you said that the people when you went on your first trip were just the people, the locals were great. When you went on the trip more in Portugal, you said the locals were kind of not very friendly. Like they
Mm-hmm.
kind of had a little bit of an attitude, you know. And my friend who was Portuguese, she's like, yeah, that's, I'm not shocked that you said that. But the point being is we this is our life. We have to decide, are we going to be a product of our circumstance, or are we going to create our circumstance and be okay
Absolutely.
with who we are and keep moving forward, or are we going to stay stuck in the misery? And it was
I
something that
think
I definitely need a reminder of.
all the time, listen, I was not stressed over anything that happened in 2023. There was disappointments, but there was no irritation. There was no stressing. Oh my God, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? When there were obstacles, I questioned why were there obstacles? Like, because I wanted to know what was the way around it. And nothing really set me off, not even when my roof needed repairing immediately. I got on a flight, it was handled. The disappointments, because it wasn't people who disappointed me, it was the disappointment in knowing who is who in my life.
Yeah.
Because when you ask for change, when you ask to, when I prayed to Yahweh and I said, please remove anyone and everyone that is not meant to be in my life, then those soul ties, they hurt when they're being broken. And so it's just an awareness. So when people say, oh, I thought you were going on your camino at this time, well, no, I have to wait. Well, I thought you were going in September. Well, obviously I'm not. So when the door to my past closed, the other two opened, and I gladly walked through them. I don't make no decisions without praying. That's one thing that's set. What I'm working on this year is more, my new beginning is to be gentler with myself, is to be kinder and more understanding, right? Because then I can live better. Here, what I see in people, the fathers pushing the baby carriages while the mothers are chit-chatting, the kids playing outside, the parents inside, is they live and they work, but they don't live to work. It's like they work to live. And that right there is just just breast with me prepping my journey the next stages in my life, and I'm here and I'm witnessing living, because what does living give you? It births hope. And if you just live and stop worrying and stop creating stressors and obstacles. So that's my goal, is to be kinder and more understanding. My goal is to breathe discernment over everyday encounters of my life. It's just, and it's a big change for me. Like all the stages that I've been making changes in have been very difficult. It's been like, when some of them went, it's like my arm was missing for a while. I'm like, oh my God, I know it was there, because it's just that survival mode person that I was in love with. I loved myself because I protected myself. I defended myself. I went after what I wanted, regardless of what I had to go through to get there. And now I just want to pray for my things. I want to walk in discernment. I want to say, is this for me? Okay, if it is, then I'm going all out. If I'm like on the fence about it, then I got to think about it a little more. And if it's not, then I'm going to cut people, places, and things. And so it's about new beginnings, and it's about being positive, and it's about being gentle, and it's about being kind, and it's about opening your eyes, opening your ears, and opening up your heart. That's my take on it.
And it's a beautiful take to have.
Because nothing is gonna, anything easy that comes into your life is just that easy, and as easy as it came will be as easy as it'll leave you, and it'll leave you in chaos, and it'll leave you damaged, or all the healing you did, it's going to untie those knots. So work for what you want, believe in what you want, pray for what you want, and if it doesn't come, then it's not meant for you. So thank you very much for saying that a little bit ago when you said, no, I didn't choose this date. You're absolutely right. I followed the assignment. So I'm gonna complain because my body hurts. The rain wasn't that bad. I was sweating so much that I had to take my hat off. So I didn't know whether my head was filled with sweat or filled with rain or both. Either way, I was okay with it. Walking through the mud, I didn't know if I was in cow manure or just mud, or maybe it was a mixture of both, but we sloshed through it anyway. Why? Because we're in a different country. We're breathing fresh air, and we're just walking. And we're being able to go into the archives of our thoughts and evict and eliminate what we've been holding on to, or what's been taking up space in that file cabinet that we no longer need to keep. So it's been adventure, and we can do this kind of thing that I'm doing. I believe we can do it anywhere. You just got to set your mind. I mean, when Gail is so strong, she's living her venture over there. Leanne, I really do want to go hiking with Leanne. I really do, Leanne. It's a date. I can't tell you when, but it's a date. Kathy says she needs those extra panties. No, you don't, because I have 4, and I'm like, why do I have these extra panties? Last night we had to hand wash everything. There was no hot water. I was like this by the time we're done. And then have it dried by the fireplace where we were. No. So everything is important. I think when we get up, like Laura got up, I've been up. When we get up for Viva, it is the most important task of the day, is getting up. It's stretching. It's getting ready to start Viva. And to be in such a energy, such an aura of light, so that when we speak and you listen to us, that same positive, enlightened energy reaches out. That is our mission of every Tuesday and Thursday morning. So it is important. When we choose to do something, we gotta like put our foot in it. And Gail, no, I wish Iris can bring me the thing that to use in the forest when you gotta pee. You're gonna love it. But yeah, Badass, did you read what she said? Awakening means taking the dive and being vulnerable. Girl.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
I've been crying. I be praying, and my tears be flowing. I got scared the first time. I'm like, what's going on with me? What's going on? And I'm loving it. Hola milagros. You know what? I'm loving how everything transpired in 2023. It came at the last month of the year. With promise, So I just think wherever you're at, whenever something stops, remember for every ending, there's a beginning. You know, for every beginning, there's an end for new beginnings and so forth. So I think we got to stop looking at things like, why is that happening to me? Instead of, okay, what am I supposed to do? There's a fork in the road. Which way am I going to go? And follow your assignment. You know, I speak to Yahweh, but you got to follow your assignment. Which way feels right? Which way do I feel the pool of energy? Everything's energy, mi gente. But yeah,
Liam wants to
so,
know what
but
the temperature is. What's the temperature over there?
It's the Celsius. I think right now it's about 43 are in degrees.
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, it's, bundled up and walking right. It's actually not too bad. It was about 43 out here, and I was doing a lot of yard work. It was actually quite comfortable. But getting back to the today's show in this whole month, like everything that we're going to be focusing on is awakening.
Mm-hmm.
The awakening is a process. It's not like you wake up one morning and then you're a different person. That's why, like jokingly, and I said this the other day, that I did that little quick video short a few years ago, is like New Year's, new year, new me, new year, new you. And it's like, what are we going to wake up? We're going to go to bed after New Year's Eve, and then we're going to wake up in the morning on New Year's Day, January 1st, and we're going to miraculously change, when in reality we wake up to be the same exact person. We can do the same exact thing. Change comes any time of year, and breaking habits and creating a new you is all year long. And if you miss your opportunity, because this happens a lot, people will get up and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to eat really well, and I'm going to lose the weight, and I'm going to be healthier, and they already mess up like day two, like tomorrow. And then they'll be like, I messed up. I don't even, I gotta have to start all over again. So start all over again. Don't wait till next year. Start all
Mm-mm.
over again.
Right
Just
then
say,
and there.
what messed me up? Why is it that New Year's resolutions on the average only last for about 6 weeks? They start on January 1st and they last till the middle of February, and then most people lose momentum, because that's around the time people's habits want to kick back in. Their subconscious mind is saying, I want to go back to the way I used to do things. It's just easier that way. That's when you have to stop and ask yourself, why? Why am I being pulled back in there? What's getting in the way? How important is this to me? So, what we're asking you to do today is, and here you are, what is your starting point? What is your starting point? If you want to lose weight, what's your weight today? If you want to get in shape, what's your measurements today? What's your stamina
Mm-hmm.
today? If your health is I'm on, taking 2 pills a day, that's your starting point. What's your end game? What do you want to be? Where do you want to be? And it's not enough to sit there and say, well, I'm starting here, so you're starting here, period. You're starting here, period. Don't worry about how you got there. Don't sit there and beat yourself up about, oh my God, if I had only done this differently, I wouldn't be. It's too late. It's done. The beauty is that our bodies, our mind, they're so resilient, but yet we never give ourselves enough credit to say, I can reinvent myself. I can change. I can make and do things differently. We end up just thinking we're doing things differently, but we're still doing it with the same way, the same mindset. And that's why when we are placed in situations, that is a gift from God saying, I'm giving you the opportunity to see the world from a different perspective. In our case, like with my sister and I, it was being around somebody that was just so lost, so wounded, that the wounds were getting in the way of living their life, which is it's a really great life, not seeing what's right in front of them. And that gave us a really good perspective to say, it's a reminder that's not how we want to be. In Guru's case, it's, I've got to go now. Yep, I mean, I prepared, but nope, nobody ever prepares you for every little
Never.
thing. But the
No.
thing is that I can bend a little bit. What did I learn from this? What did I learn from the fact that would I not go again? Like, here's the interesting thing. She could turn around and say, what did I learn from this? Well, I learned that I'm not going to go hiking again on New Year's Eve. No, she could sit there and say, well, actually, New Year's Eve wasn't so bad. I just have to make sure I pack food with me because I may not be able to stop. It's like you
That's it.
decide what works for you. Maybe it is that she says, well, you know what? I did it, but the winter hike is not my thing, not my gig. Perfect. Then she knows, but she did
Because I
it.
did it. Because I did
She
it.
didn't walk away. She didn't walk away and go, that was the most miserable experience I've ever had. I don't want to. When we decide that something is salient, important to it, that we could take something important from a moment. That's what the word salient is that we find importance or significance in something. And then we make an informed decision. And that's the awakening. It's awakening into your power. It's awakening into yourself. It's awakening into your wounds. It's awakening into the things that you must work on yourself, but also awakening into the possibilities and what's in front of you and what you can change. And we didn't talk about this. I know I'm talking a lot, but let me just finish this one statement. We didn't mention this. I didn't post it, and I wish I had. But do you realize that New Year's Eve was 123 123? 123. Well, it was 12 31 23, which comes out
Mm-hmm.
to 123 123 in numerology, and it also totals the number 12. All significant numbers. This is meant to be an amazing spiritual awakening year if we allow it to be. And I think we really, not I think, I know we really need this in the world. So
Mm-hmm.
we have got to step in and 123, 123, go. And we have to like
You
really jump in for this.
Well, you said if is the operative word in anything you choose to do in your life, because you know what? I think the awakening, just take responsibility for your life. And if you haven't, or have you taken steps forward to it, you know, forgive, let go, heal as best you can, and make the best of it, because we don't live forever. Tomorrow's not promised. I know it's such a cliche, but it is so true. You know, we believe we have time. Oh, I'll wait till next year. I'll do this in 6 months. You know what? It's the biggest mistake that we do is believing we have time. So say I love you more. Forgive. Forgive with no condition. You know what? If you're going to be stuck in your thoughts of what happened to you in your past, think of it in a different way. Oh my God, I can't believe I survived that. But you know what? I'm letting it go. It no longer belongs to me. I will no longer latch on to it. It happened. Yes. It hurt you. Yes. Or, see, we're always talking about being a victim or being the victim in why we can't forgive. But do we ever stop in between those? Oh, but you don't understand what happened to me, and talk about what we did, because I had to ask forgiveness for things I did, because I had to protect myself from a young age. So I was very, I've mentioned it, how grateful I've always been. There were people I had to ask forgiveness for because I was the villain in their story. So I think if this is the month of awakening, then wake the fuck up, acknowledge your thoughts in whatever scenario you're playing the lead role in, and then put it aside.
Uh-oh. Are we having trouble? I think we're having trouble. On my end, it looks like we're fine, but I'm not seeing. Looks like we froze on Facebook. I don't know. Let me see. I apologize. If you're all seeing me and hearing me, I apologize. Hold on a minute. I had to go back on. Looks like we froze. Okay, you see me? Can you hear me too? I don't see Gladiator Guru on my side at all. Let's go with some. Okay, Nancy, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Um, okay, we lost Guru. She'll come back, but let's see what we have written here. Okay. So Desiree says, I've recently come into contact with an old friend who was in a place I was years ago. I want so badly to help. She's not open. She's not ready. I remember being there too. I remember having no self-love. I feel self-love when I meet people now, knowing I want more from a relationship or friendship. I just can't stay in the space of all the negativity, and I feel badly, but I can't hold hands because they are pulling my energy down, and I feel that. I agree with you. I agree with you. That's what happens, is that when you get to that place, it's very challenging to be around people who are in that place that you were in, and you get to decide, do I want to be around these individuals, or do I need to pull myself away? And the idea is to plant a seed, plant some seeds, and hopefully they will take hold. That's like my sister and I were talking about that. Not that exact words we were saying, but it's we can give them information, but if they choose not to roll with it, then and not change their lives, then we have to make a decision, and do we cut those people out of our lives? So good morning, Nancy Green.
Well,
We were freezing for a bit, like back and forth. We lost you, then I froze on Facebook keeps freezing on my end.
no, mine is somebody, one of the other pilgrims that we met. He keeps calling me through Facebook, and so every time my phone rings through Facebook, I did no disturb, but I guess it didn't block Facebook. So every time he called twice, then I go black. But anyway, yeah, we've talked about this for on many shows. About forgiveness, and sometimes you're never going to understand the whys, and not to feel guilty about letting go of people that you know are sucking the life out of your big toe. And in everything we said, it hurts, it's painful, you will be criticized, ostracized, you will be everything, because you are standing up for yourself. So you got to decide, are you worthy of walking away from people that drying up your cup instead of helping you refill it? And it doesn't matter who it is. What matters is that you are valuing yourself. See, I've always said, since we talked on the show, because I learned it in Mary Kay years ago, that it's God, me, then everybody else. Because if I don't honor myself, if I don't respect myself, if I don't value myself, protect myself from negative energies, then what am I saying about my Savior? If the I am lives within the I am, but I'm mistreating and abusing and bullying this I am, what I am, and then in the time that I need something, I show up because, like, I'm being hypocrite. So we're human, we're gonna fall and we're gonna try to hurt, hold on to some people. But you have to understand that we are born with they were entrusted into us. We are their shepherds. We are not their sheep. They were given to us. Why is my daughter born to me and not born to anybody else? She was born to me because I needed to shepherd her. I needed to pastor to her. I needed to show her the many caminos to take in life that wouldn't be so difficult. I don't know what back on.
You're breaking up, Gladiator Guru.
Yeah, that's a different.
Oh, um, yeah, we're having connectivity issues kind of on both sides. So roll with the punches, right? All that good information. And you know what? This was bound to happen anyway. We knew that with Gladiator Guru traveling, that it may not be easy for her to get a good signal. At least on my end, one would think that I would have a decent signal, but I haven't had it. My signals.
I've been
So
having great
let's see.
signals. Like, it's just those 2 phone calls must have set something up. So I don't know what you heard, but what I'm saying is that even our children were entrusted to us because we are to be their shepherds, not their best friends. And sometimes our children have to be put on timeout when they are not behaving, when they're disrespectful, when they're doing all that. And it's like, because you need to set boundaries even with your children. Shit, I set boundaries with my shadow. So you're gonna think I don't set boundaries with other people when it comes to me and my energy? So the awakening is fall in love with yourself and then befriend yourself. Write yourself letters. We've said all of this. My thing, this discernment has served me well this last year, and that's how my new mantra for a while until I don't have to say it anymore. I am and will live what is true, what is right, and what is essential. What is true, what is right, and what is essential. And if I walk that path, then that's my boundaries for others to recognize. That's the awakening within me. Don't do shit half-assed and then complain about it. Because that hasn't worked for us up to today, has it? Anything?
Well, I was typing what you wrote. I like that. What is true? What is right? What is essential?
It's a Bible verse
We
to what discernment really means. Yes, I got that out of the Bible. The ability to choose between what is true, what is right, and what is false and wrong, and to choose and judge wisely true, what is right, and what is essential. So,
I think that's where we get hung up on. I think we get hung up on the things that are not essential. And then we get hung up on the things that we believe to be true, but are not. Man, I got to tell you, Gladiator Guru, I thought about you this last week and a half, because I wanted to say to this individual, like, stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to yourself, because it was so evident that this person just kept lying to themselves about life, and not dealing with the stuff that from their, I mean, way past, we're talking like their past. And but the interesting thing is that people can only, I mean, we know this, we've said this before, people can only receive the information that they're willing to receive. There's so many people out there that just refuse to receive the information, but this is why it has to be repeated. It's not a coincidence that if you keep hearing something over again, this is part of the awakening. If you keep hearing something over and over again, if you keep seeing something over and over again, you have got to stop and admit it to yourself and say, that's interesting. I keep seeing that person. I keep seeing this thing. I keep hearing this thing. Why? Stop for a moment and sit quietly with yourself and ask yourself, why do I keep seeing this? Why do I keep hearing this? What is the meaning behind this? Because there's significance. There's so many things out there that we just refuse to see, we refuse to hear, because we want to create our own destiny. And I'm not one of those people that, oh, it's up to destiny. We do create our own destiny, but we create it by guidance through a higher power. And I, because I don't believe that people are just put on this earth to just do nothing, just plop down and live your life. I think people, we all are here, even if it's helping one person, you're helping one person. So all these people that come on this planet that just don't do anything, that is their choice. But and I'm not going to judge that anymore. I'm just going to look at that and say, you know what, that's their choice, and maybe they're lost. So, but I'm not worrying about that anymore. And I used to. So look at this person. Look what they're not doing. Look at that. Pointing this, and now to say to myself, you know what? That's their journey. Why does their journey buy me? What? Say that again.
Purpose. If you had not met them, you would not have awakened. Everybody has a purpose. You're either the lighthouse, which when you are in control of the lighthouse. You are in the dark because all the light is going out to save all those that need help, that need saving. Without that light, those ships will crash. So when you work as the lighthouse person, you are behind the light. That is their purpose. There's many people who walk around that are alone and really just shine their light on people. Then you got those that are like, why is he taking up my breath? But that's for you to realize and appreciate every breath you take. Everybody has a purpose. That's what discernment is about, is to choose wisely. Because why did I meet this person who's like, what the heck? You're supposed to learn from him. You're on the verge of reaching a level in your life, but you've been hesitant, you've been lazy, or you just haven't believed in yourself. And then boom, you meet this Bobolongo. You're like, what the fuck? He's wasting time, energy. And then what happens? You're on it. You're on to the next level. Everybody has a purpose. That's why I said for my new beginnings this year forward is to be more gentler with myself and kinder and understanding with me so that I can be open and the same to everyone around me. Because everyone we meet has been purposely put on that chessboard for us to learn something.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think that's the part that I struggled with because my mission in life over the last several years has been to be live a mindful life, like live. I always joke I'm like I'm a Christian Buddhist, like to live more mindfully, more in a Buddhist philosophy, to be compassionate to all living beings and stuff like that. And it's very hard sometimes, very challenging for me to be to find compassion for some individuals, because some of it is because of my own stuff. That's the part that I have to work on, because unfortunately, according to the Buddhist philosophy, compassion is compassion. There's no judgment on it. If you're going to be compassionate to this person, you have to also be compassionate to this person. So I struggle with this all the time. And I had my biggest challenge the last few days, because I tried to be very compassionate to this individual, and I was finding myself so pissed off, so frustrated. I was getting short with this person. So I'm still trying to work on this to figure this piece of it out. What was I supposed to gain from here? How, I don't like conditions. I don't like when people give me conditions. I don't like conditional love. I don't like conditional friendships. But am I also imposing conditions onto other people? And so that's to me, that this was a big learning experience, to look at this and say, what did I learn from this? Like what did I learn about myself? And to, like you said, to be more loving to self, so that you could be more loving to other people. Because what I did notice was, when a person is in their own misery, it's the reason they take that misery with them is because they don't know anything else. Like, they're so caught up in that misery. How in the world could they not be miserable to other people? And I know, because I lived it. Since I've been out of Connecticut, I've been able to pull myself further away from that. But there's still more work to be done, because I do have those moments where I can be moody and bitchy and miserable. And I can't blame the environment anymore, because it's a different environment. So it's me. It's I'm the
You're
piece.
weak. You're the weak link in
So,
that.
but that right, and that's where we have to take that step back. And that's why Thursday's show is so significant. It's the stuff that Gladiator Guru talks about all the time. And we're gonna even though it's just Thursday's show is the title, it's just that we're gonna, once we set that into motion on Thursday, we're gonna have you do this every single day. Once we set that into motion, because the toughest thing that I've ever done for myself is have to confront myself about the lies that I tell myself. So when we ask you the question of, and here you are, what's your starting point today? What's your starting point today? We want you to do it as honest as possible. Like seriously, nobody else has to see this. You could write it down. You say, you know what, I'm a hot freaking mess. If you're a hot freaking mess, admit it. You know? And if you have, here's another way to doing it too, is that if you have somebody in your life that really does care about you, like really cares about you, and you really, really want to heal yourself and really work on yourself, have them look at that too. Like if you know somebody that's not going to judge you and they can be honest with you, those are the true people in your life that really matter. Give them a list and say, is this accurate? And I want you to be honest with me, because they're the ones say
Then
that.
you got to be open for the
to,
constructive criticism.
exactly.
You like, tell me, do I look fat in this? Be honest, do I look fat? And then they're like, yeah, a little. Oh my God, I can't believe you called me fast. So be open to the constructive criticism. There's two sides to everything. So if you're gonna ask for truth, be ready to sit in it. Because a lot of people don't do that. They don't what? No. So because that's a great thing. If you do exactly what the badass Buddha said and share it with somebody you trust and love and that they honor you, that is the best way, because then you don't feel so isolated, alone, and you're more accountable. Just be open for that, because that is also you growing, pushing through the pain. And that's all I kept saying, climbing that was, I gotta push through the pain. I gotta push through the pain until we made it. You gotta push through the pain. But that's a great idea. If you trust somebody, then do that. But badass, give me a moment, because Desiree wrote something, and I remember meeting your sister at my book signing. And then I hear what Nancy wrote, and let's go back for it'll be brief. When I was asked to help take care of my mom, I didn't want to do that. I've never denied anything. I had a whole, almost all my adult life and early childhood of resentment towards her. But what happens is when we feel that the life is being pulled out of us, we are living with condition. And that's what you got to remember. If somebody annoys you that much, it's because they're doing something you don't like, or because you told them to do something some way and they're not doing it, or because you're giving advice, they're not taking it, and it's upsetting you and you feel drained. Remember, every time you get into a debacle with somebody and they have the win, they win more. If that you notice you're exhausted, they just took your energy. So, and it wasn't until the last year of my mother's life that I finally just moved, and it was okay. It was still hard, the caregiving, but it was okay. And that's what you learn sometimes when you're so angry with somebody. I had to learn this recently, because I'm like, Iris, come on. And then I had to say, I'm here for the reintroduction to Margarita at 55 with nothing, nothing. My car, that's it. So who am I now with nothing? And then I had to say, so I got Iris is going to catch up. Iris is going to pack up her way. So, and I had to, like, what am I doing? And this is not even what it was about. I had to check my own self. So a lot of the times I found when people aggravate me is because they weren't listening to my advice. They weren't following what I said, how they should do something. Well, I'm here helping you. You should be more appreciative. I was selling my services as opposed to doing it because it came from my heart. Instead of just sitting there looking at somebody say, oh, this asshole's out of my life. And that's it. But when we put so much into it, then what are we doing? So I think a lot of that is when we want to control a situation and then call it unconditional, or when we want to put conditions and say that it's because of love, we harm ourselves and then we get mad at people. So if your sister's sucking the life out of you, do what you can. If you got to bring her food, bring her the food. Don't have conversations that's going to lead into what you should do, what should I do, what should be done. Eliminate that conversation. Be there for, I'm dropping off food. Do you need me to pick something up from the store? Drop it off. Remove yourself. You're not Captain Save-A-Ho. So you don't have to cut the ties completely, especially when someone like your child, Nancy, and like your sister who does have Desiree. What you can do is do the bare minimum that's done with compassion, because you want to do it. You want to call her and say, hey, I'm going to the grocery store. Do you need anything? I'll drop it off on my way home. Or she calls you, I'm in a mood for chocolate, whatever, and you are going to be out. Okay, I can do it this time. And then, but the minute we want to get involved of how they should live their life, what they should give up, which route should they take, what shoes should they wear, I can't believe you're saying that. You also got to realize where were your boundaries that they crossed over that fence and started poking holes into you like Swiss cheese. So
And
everything,
there's the answer.
and because if you think of it that way, what we opened up with, and that what Buddha was brave enough to say was, it's not about her environment anymore. It's still the baggage we're holding up here.
Yeah, it's
But
ridiculous.
of how be grateful because we arrived, you know, or we're grateful because I washed the dishes. No, if you wash the dishes, you chose to do it unless they asked you. That's it. And then you could have said no. So again, reevaluate how you are approaching this person and what your expectations back from that person is. And then if you can't do it because you can do it, then don't do it because you're gonna keep wounding yourself and then looking outside of you.
Yeah. I want to share something to you, and the irony is that the individual that sent this to me is well, I'm not going to say anything anyway. Um, this was something that I got. Yeah, the one thing I love about the new year too is that people send some really interesting stuff. They'll post some really interesting stuff, and I love that. Like I said, I'm hardly ever on social media, but this came through a messenger, and it says, "Excuse me." It says, "Hello, dear friends. Welcome to Flight 2024. We are prepared to take off into a brand new year. Please make sure your attitude and blessings are secured and locked in an upright position. All self destructive devices should be turned off at this time. All negativity and discouragement should be put away. Should we lose altitude under pressure during the flight, reach up and pull down a prayer. Prayers will automatically be activated by faith. Once your faith is activated, you can assist other passengers. There will be no baggage allowed on this flight. The captain, God, has cleared us for takeoff. Destination, greatness. Book your flight. Happy New Year."
Oh, yeah. I really love that.
That's cute, right?
That-
But the thing is that we have got to I love what Nancy Green, like I appreciate what Nancy Green wrote. She says, maybe I was going through menopause. Oh, I would love to give that as the excuse of my moodiness. But the reality is it's not hormonal. It's me being a pain in the ass bitch. I will admit that. I get into these moods, and then I get like pissy, and I have to check myself at the door. I've got to own that piece of it. Why? What is it that I'm getting pissed off about? Why am I being short tempered with certain people or with people in general? And it's me. It's me. I have still so much more work to do. Working on ourselves is a lifetime. We come out with these expectations of self based on how we were raised. The reality is that the quote wounds that I have are not that bad compared to what some people have gone through in their lives. And so I always, this is what I try to do with myself. My story is my story. I'm not underestimating it, but I have to also stop lying to myself and say, this is not the worst story that's ever been out there. There have been people that have gone through horrible stuff and have come out with less baggage. So why do I keep holding on to that baggage? Why do I keep insisting on holding on to that stuff? Because I'm choosing to. And little by little the why answer comes out. Why am I? Well, this part will be answered. But I don't sit long enough to really ask myself all the whys. They come up and I deal with them as they come. But it's not sometimes it's asking why, it's more asking, why do I need to do this? Like who do I want to be? Does this represent who I want to be? And I don't want to be that person. I want to be this person. And so in order for me to be this person, I've got to let go of this other stuff. I've got to be more honest with myself. I can't lie to myself but I also have to be honest with other people. You know, one of the things that my sister and I were discussing this morning before the show is the how over the years we've attracted people like this in our lives, and it all had to do with the lack of boundaries, which is what Gladys Guru mentioned before. But we've talked about ad nauseum, really, over the years. We've talked about the boundaries, and it's you could be kind, but also have boundaries. You know, call people out on their stuff. You know, we have the right, and if they don't want to hear it, then we don't need to be around them. That's yeah, exactly.
And one of the important things is that even when we're, because you said you hit it on the nose earlier, we are never going to be perfect. We shouldn't even set out to be perfect. Because we're gonna fall. Now, I've talked about Juanita, Filomena, Isabella, y La Gitana. They're all there all the time. What I've learned is to control them. But there's gonna be a person that's gonna bring out that in me. And it almost happened last night when this group of people just took all our food. And I had to go out there, and then they were like, "Oh, I don't understand." So I was doing sign language, but I felt the rage coming up because the audacity. And then I had to calm down and I had to breathe, and I went and had a cigarette, and I was like, "Who?" I told Iris, I got kind of concerned there because I felt the Margie coming out. She goes, "Girl, I felt it too." So this morning when we woke up and someone drank all of our milk for coffee, I was like, we were gonna leave it anyway. We couldn't take the half gone, and we left. But there's gonna be those moments. Be kind to yourself, because it wasn't even about the food. Because I don't fight for food. You had a whole table laid out with food. Why would you take someone else's extra? It's the principle. Ask. You see me there. So, and we're going to run across people like that. And that's where my boundaries are. I have boundaries like a motherfucker. I don't care to tell somebody in a heartbeat if they're crossing over into my unmanicured lawn. It is still my lawn. And the thing is that if I honor and respect myself, you will respect me. And that's what boundaries is about. And you know what? If your sister doesn't like the holidays, send her a card. Don't even call. I mean, you got to find ways that soothes your soul and will make her smile after the couple of days that she's upset. You can't heal her. You can only heal yourself. And that's all we can do is heal ourselves, so that when we're around, our aura and our energy will penetrate them in a way where it'll raise their vibrations and they can be behaving at a high frequency. That's the gift you can give somebody, family members or not. When they are vibrating low, they don't even know. They're just miserable and they're cranky and everything stinks and everything's ugly and everything's broken. What you gonna do? Sit there and fight? Tell you a little story that I read and I love before we leave. A donkey tells the tiger, "Look at how beautiful. The sky is green." And the tiger's like, "You ass, it's blue." And the donkey says, "No, it's not. It's green. Let's ask the king." So the tiger and the donkey go up to the lion. And the donkey is snitching. "Oh, king, I told Tiger that how beautiful the green sky was today. And he's yelling at me saying it's not green, it's blue." And the tiger's like, "Just tell him the truth that it's blue." So the lion looked at both of them, punished the tiger. The donkey's jumping up and down like the ass that he is. He goes, "Aha, you see, I was right." And he walks away. And the tiger says, "Why are you punishing me when the sky is clearly not green?" And he said, "Because how he sees things is not how you see things, and you should know better than that. So learn from that. Do not correct him. If his sky is green, who are you to tell him anything different?" And that is a lesson that I kept, because that's what we try to do with people that we claim we love. We want to change the trajectory of how they view things. And then we get upset because they're not getting it. Or we put ourselves in their lives. Well, if you do it this way and you do it that way, it's going to be better. Why would you keep doing it this way when it's not working out? And they tell us to fuck off. Now we're butt wounded again, right? And now it's their fault. I'm doing everything. They're not appreciating it. It's not time for them to reach a level to where they can see the sun shining. And you got to respect that. Because you're too busy fixing you. How else are you going to have time to do anything else?
All right. Well, we are at the end, and we appreciate everybody for staying on. I've got to go. I've got something that I have to take care of on a personal end. But thank you so much for being here today. And again, Thursday's show, this is just the beginning. It is the awakening month. So we want you all to be ready and to face it, to stand up and be brave. And we're going to be right there with you. Once again, this is never a one-sided thing. We are up there learning and becoming new with you. So don't ever think that we're just lecturing. You know that. You know us better than that. Anything last minute that you want to say, Gladiator, before we go? Hi, Priscilla.
Hello to Connie Gore. How are you? All I want to say is, when you learn to honor yourself with all your flaws, you will see beauty in all the flaws in everyone outside of you. And that's how we can move on in life. Last year was hard. We don't know what's happening in this universe this year. So you have to know who you are and what solid ground you're going to stand on, because then you can appreciate outside of you, because you're so filled with love. That's it.
Okay. All right. And good morning, Janet. Janet jumped on at the end. Good morning, Janet. Let me get you in here. All right. All right. So everybody, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you Thursday from the Badass Buddha. Remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
Hello, Sissy. Yes, and from me, the Gladiator, live from Pamplona. Remember to breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste.